All right, episode 7, CineNerds. I'm James.
I'm JP.
And I'm Ryan.
We are your CineNerds. And today, wow. So you thought I thought the last movie was bad? We're staying right in that wheelhouse, people. JP picked
Radioactive Dreams.
the actual poster for this movie looks better than the whole movie looked, just so everyone knows. This was a hard one to find, to watch. Luckily, JP had the link, because it's only on YouTube at this point.
Well, this movie is well out of print. There was only a DVD version that was released in Germany. A limited, from what I read, it was only 1,000 copies were made on DVD.
This is your favorite movie.
Only released in Germany.
And
that was in the mid 2000s.
And the movie came out in 1985,
Yeah.
July of 1985.
Now there are.
This is JP's favorite movie.
It's not my favorite.
It's
movie,
up there,
but it's up there. Now there was VHS copies of this,
in 1985
through the 80s and early 90s, but they're long out of print. So yeah, there's not been a re-release for this film on DVD, Blu-ray, and it's not even available on digital. And the versions you watch on YouTube, I'm not sure if it's a VHS copy or if it's
a trash copy.
It's a pretty low quality. It may be the DVD version that was limited release in Germany, but it's a pretty low res copy.
What'd you think of this movie, Ryan? I'll go last.
Well, I was a little bit put off initially. I hadn't seen it yet, and
Did I help that?
I get a text.
Did I help that?
I get a text from James. I'm 4 minutes in, and I want to turn it off.
4 minutes and 8 seconds, and I already had it on pause, and I was looking at my phone, just scrolling Facebook.
But wait, it gets worse. It's definitely worse. I text him, half an hour later?
35 minutes. Yeah.
And he goes, I'm only 14 minutes in total now.
It took everything I had to not turn off this movie. And honestly, I only kept it on because it did actually get better. The storyline definitely got better as it, JP's right. You have to get through to the opening credit of the title screen. And it's 14 minutes, 15 minutes.
It's the first 8 minutes before you actually bring the title screen that says Radioactive Dreams.
Oh, it's so bad.
So anyway, what was your initial?
Don't let me talk.
After the view, so that was just my initial with James.
He was already afraid to watch it.
After that, though, I did watch it. My happiness fell in this hit two different realms. For me, I love post-apocalyptic dystopian scenarios. I love things that are, nuclear wasteland style. I also love video games, and I believe this movie had a lot of influence on the video games.
I have that. Yeah, there's a fun fact on that.
So the one character we meet first, and after they escape from the shelter, there's two gentlemen who've grown up in a shelter, Milo and Philip, and they've just gotten out of the shelter, and the first person they come in contact with is the character Miles. Miles is an attractive blonde woman, but she happens to have on her left wrist what looks like a Pip-Boy from Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, which is what determines everything you use in the video game. And it's really, really interesting that she's wearing this. So you can see the elements of influence that it had moving forward. I love that.
Do you want me to go ahead and give you the fun fact on that?
Yeah, because I don't know.
Okay, so Radioactive Dreams in the 80s, it influenced a video game called Wasteland that was, I believe it was only a PC game.
And did that become Fallout?
Wasteland was released, and then years after that, they were working on Wasteland 2 and 3. The studio was bought out, and the original Wasteland, the creators even noted that it was heavily influenced by Radioactive Dreams. So when the studio was bought out, and they were already working on Wasteland 2 and 3, the studio that bought them out revamped Wasteland 2 and 3 into the Fallout series.
Now it all comes together.
So, that being said, the Fallout series, the people that took over for the Fallout series, loved this film as well and took even more influences from this movie for Fallout, even more so than the original Wasteland video game.
Here's the thing. So Milo and Philip, while they're in the bunker, Marlo, while they've been placed in this bunker, and they've grown up in this bunker with complete isolation, essentially, they only had these movies to watch. So they believe their father figures were, which I was still not clear if they were fathers or if they were kidnapped.
It was never clear. I mean, they called them Papa, but it was never clear if it was actually their fathers.
So, but they're left in there. They believe their fathers are detectives. And so when they come out, they have these Dick Tracy vibes going on. They got the hats.
They sat in there for like 10 or 15 years reading nothing but like old detective books, and so they come out looking like a...
Well, isn't there film reels in the one
there's
part?
There's films and books, yeah.
Okay.
There's films and books, and so they come out looking like a noir style, like 40s, 50s detectives.
And they're trying to talk with the same vibe that the old school detectives would have. And Michael Dudikoff's character continues to keep saying, "Yeah, we're dicks. We're dicks." And the way he keeps saying "we're dicks" over and over, it starts hitting you a little bit wrong. But it's in a good way. You just laugh a little bit. So there's comedic relief in that aspect. But I like the way that there's solid story here, even though it's very, very hard watch. There's solid story for sure here as it develops. And my only big complaint is every sequence that there is a song incorporated in, it's like the song never ends. I think the one song in the main with the woman singing,
the Sue Sod, I think. Is
Oh God, yeah, no.
Dude,
she kept saying the same thing over.
That was like a
she kept doing that
7-minute portion
face
of the
where you just
movie.
want to punch her in the mouth.
But that was a 7-minute portion of the movie, and I'm like, why are you repeating the same thing over and over? This is painful. But that aside, the story
the
elements
actual music in the background of the movie
was
though,
pretty good.
Like because I do love 80s synth kind of stuff, Depeche Mode, things like that. That was the only part of the movie that was my saving grace.
I agree. I can say that. But that one song, though.
Like that, but her, oh my God, and just her face, how she kept like making that face when she'd say that. God. Like this was a tough one. And I only made it through because honestly, we said we're going to watch them no matter what. I stuck to my word.
I'm pretty happy with this choice. I'm not going to lie. Now that I saw it and got through it, I'm pretty happy with it.
I do not feel the same.
I know.
Like this was up there with Hobo as just straight trash.
As I said in our last podcast, though,
I did enjoy this one better than Hobo.
But I'm a sucker for the story. And this had good story.
Here's the thing: I actually would not mind seeing this redone. This is one where this is where we talked last time about how we need new stuff. This I feel actually deserves a chance of actually trying to be good.
You're going to get it. Because essentially, they're making the Fallout video game is an Amazon show called Fallout. Now.
I want this done the way it is. I don't want one word changed.
I agree. Okay. Well, that means you liked it.
No, I want to be able to give it a chance. Because, like I said, I might have liked it better if the quality wasn't such dog shit. But let's just be honest, it was dog shit.
Would you say you like this better than Hobo?
Oh, for a million times yes. But I still wouldn't give it a high rating. But I would rather watch this over. I will never watch Hobo again. I'll never watch this again. But if I came over and JP is halfway through the movie, I'll sit down and fight my way through it. I will not do that with Hobo. I'm good on that ever again. That is a dumbass movie. You all suck for picking it. Leave it at that.
I think you people are wonderful, intelligent intellectuals that I appreciate.
I highly disagree. But here's the thing with this movie. I didn't even realize that was a giant rat.
It was a giant rat. There is a giant rat in this movie.
It comes out of a sewer.
It is the size of a Volkswagen.
It would never come out of a hole that big.
Part of our dynamic here is we're probably going to lean towards the same things a lot, and James is going to
tell you how stupid you are
from his side of things. Yes,
trash.
So as we unfold, a lot of these movies are going to be picked for these reactions. I'm just telling you, it's going to happen. Especially when you know that people now know that how much you had a disdain for Hobo. You know they're going to roll with this.
people.
I mean,
there's just
you kept bitching in the last episode about the fact that there was Constantine in the mix, and they chose Hobo.
yeah, because Constantine is a great movie.
I chose V for Vendetta, and
V for Vendetta is a great movie. I need to watch that again because I've only seen it once, and that was like 10 years ago.
V for Vendetta is really
like
good.
because that's to me. I mean, I'm not I like a good conspiracy theory, but I do think that we have some things in this world that are run like that, and so to me that's interesting. Yeah. Seeing a guy that just wants to get a $50 lawnmower to try to make a little extra scratch is not like I'm good.
We have to make him watch Dead Alive.
You don't have to do anything.
Dead Alive,
dude. You want to talk about lawnmowers and gore?
If you
Let's
do,
go.
if you I don't like the gore as it is. So
at one point, that was the bloodiest movie ever made.
The dude picks up a lawnmower and just starts chopping people left or right.
I'm good. I will not watch that. I will just tell you because I'll be sitting here telling you how stupid it is.
If the people speak otherwise, then they're
don't put it on the list, asshole.
I'm not going to put it on the list.
Everything we put on that list was something that he
picked. He just said he put V for Vendetta on that list.
And there's going to be a lot of people who want to see you squirm. Just saying.
One, I don't squirm. Two, this movie was also trash. Dudikoff.
Michael Dudikoff.
I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody even on this list. I don't know any of these people. But Michael Dudikoff, you guys have brought him up before.
And John Stockwell.
I don't even know who that is. But here's my question.
Hold on before your question. Does he have any relation to Dean Stockwell?
I don't think he does. I don't know if I've ever looked into that, but I don't think he does.
Okay.
Why did Dudikoff stop acting from 2004 to 2013?
Dude took off. Michael Dude took off.
I hate you so much. I'm actually trying to find out why, because he was active from 78 to 2004, and then now he's 2013 to present. And he's only 69 years old, so he's not like he's getting to an age now.
He's 69?
He is now.
I didn't think he was
Holy
that old.
Holy shit. Yeah, I didn't think he was that old.
He was born in 54. So this movie came out, he was 31.
Dude, my first introduction to Michael Dudikoff was American Ninja, and that was a stellar film of American cinematography.
I love American Ninja 1, 2, and 4.
But not 3.
But not 3. You know why?
Dudikoff's not in that one, right?
Did you know he played Huckleberry Finn? Huckleberry Finn?
What's that?
He played Huckleberry Finn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wholesome.
Now, my initial reactions to this movie, now they go back further, but actually, they do and they don't. Because I watched this film in the late 80s at some point.
On VHS?
Not on VHS. Actually, I watched it on USA's Up All Night.
Nice. That's a throwback to our first episode, by the way.
Throwback to our first episode. So I watched this on Up All Night, and I loved it. I fell in love with this movie. But
you saw it in a decent
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah. And so, but the thing was, it was one of those movies that they played that I didn't know what I was watching.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I didn't know the name of it. And so I went years not knowing what I watched. And this is pre,
I thought you were talking about the storyline.
This is pre-internet, and so it wasn't like I could just
God, you're that old?
I couldn't go online and just go, hey, let me look up Michael Dudikoff, or John Stockwell to try to figure out what this movie was. So for years, I had no clue what this movie was, and I had long forgotten about it, but loved it. And a handful of years ago, one of my bosses had brought this movie up. He's like, have you ever seen this? And I was like, I've never heard of it. So he actually brings me a copy of it, and it was old, like, the version that you watched was leaps and bounds better than the version that he brought me. It was like a real staticky VHS transfer. And so I watched it, and as soon as I put it on, and I saw John Stockwell and Michael Dudikoff, I was like, this is that fucking movie. And I was like, holy fuck. And so then I went down this huge rabbit hole of Radioactive Dreams, of that there's an alternate version of this film that was only released in Japan and only released on Laserdisc in Japan.
You know what? I think I've heard about that.
Yeah, and it has it has a bit of a different ending and a bit of a different opening.
You mean the ending where they're not doing a dance off? Because that was
or an opening that didn't suck so bad I couldn't get through it.
Oh.
I do really hope they had the dance off at the end.
But you know what vibes in that intro? That dance off was good.
It was.
I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, in the intro, even though it's very long, it did give me the same vibe as Terminator 2 with Sarah Connor, which is at the playground with the slow motion kind of the whole explosion happening.
Never saw it.
You've never seen Terminator 2?
Neither of them.
You're a Cameron fan.
Never.
What the hell? Okay.
I mean, at least Terminator 2. You would love Terminator 2. I don't know if you would like the first one.
Well, I have to see the first one.
No, but let's be real. Like,
that's just how it works.
If I'm being honest, you probably don't have to.
But I want.
You don't really have to.
Yeah, I do. That's how I work. I'm not going to go watch Freddy 7 if I haven't seen 1, 2, 3.
I mean, I prefer the first Terminator to the second, but I prefer it because, and I argue this, that the original Terminator is a slasher film.
I've never seen a RoboCop either.
I mean,
it has the same formula as
if you're going by soundtrack, movie score, should I say?
The formula of the movie itself runs like a slasher film. If you go back and watch the original Terminator, I promise you it runs like a slasher film.
No, I believe you. I
without all the gore. Without all the gore.
So many times I can just visualize it in my head. So
yeah.
And the cool element of part 1 is that there's one villain, one guy, one slasher villain, however you want to look at it, and people trying to escape and get away from him. So that whole dynamic. But Terminator 2 was still great.
Oh no, it is. It's almost one of the best sequels ever made. Only third behind Empire Strikes Back and House 2.
Jesus Christ! I can't believe you like House 2 that much.
It's the greatest sequel ever made.
I don't know if I can put it in that realm, but I do like it. But greatest? He's talking about House 2. We're not even talking about Empire. He just bumped House 2 over Star Wars. No. Like, wait. If he picks House 2 at some point, you'll hear me act like you did for Hobo.
So my next pick.
Oh, okay.
I will say this about this movie. You mentioned something a few minutes ago that it made me think about it. There's a movie that you mentioned. Damn it! Now I can't remember what it was.
I don't know. Was it a Cameron film?
No. It was something. I feel like it was something we just watched, and I can't remember how you were saying it. Oh, I'm so upset now because I felt like, I feel like if this was in a better quality,
yeah, if it was remastered.
Okay. Oh no, I remember now. I remember you said something that made me think about it. This is equivalent to me if it was in quality, as good a quality. This would be equivalent to me as Killer Clowns.
That's a compliment.
Does that make sense?
It's a compliment.
Does that make sense?
To me, yeah.
But I can't get into it because Killer Clowns to me was just like, it was a good waste of time to watch a movie. I didn't hate it. I wrote him and fucked with him just to fuck with him. But I didn't hate it. I'm surprised there wasn't another one. I feel like this would have been in that same exact realm of just really cheesy 80s.
It 100%
80s,
is.
But because I could not watch it in that quality, it sucked.
See,
it was how long was this movie? This movie's
29 minutes,
running time.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half.
They don't even have it wrote in there, right? 98 minutes. That was a long 90. I mean, that was like one of the longest 98 minutes of my life. Because, yes, I'm being honest. Because of the quality, that was a long 98 minutes of my life. Because I couldn't even tell like where they were. I couldn't enjoy the backgrounds of where they were. I couldn't enjoy
I disagree, except for the 7-minute window of that song.
I couldn't do it. That was even worse. But you know what sucked about the song was that was actually to me like the best part of the movie, but the song ruined it. Because that's when a lot of the action was happening. Oh, you mean what's going on
visually?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That was actually where I was like, yes, and I'm like, will you shut up? I just want to be like, bitch, shut up.
I do have an opinion. I don't know of any way to find out if this is fact, but I do have an opinion about Albert Pyun and his directing style, and you might like my opinion on this. So, Albert Pyun, in a lot of his films, he has this style. And he did it through the whole fight scene at the end, like the whole shootout scene at the end of the film, where he likes to slow things down. He likes slow motion a lot. So
kind of like how you talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of like the length of the movie.
But if you go through his movies, even movies like he did Cyborg, you know, he did, and you got all those slowed down action shots. I have wondered, and my opinion is that there's no way that Albert Pyun could not have influenced Zack Snyder in some way in his cinematography and how he films with the slow motion action shots. Like, I feel like he had to have influenced him in some manner. And I could be wrong. It's an opinion. It's not anything I've ever heard, but his style that he likes to slow down his action shots a lot like Zack Snyder.
But are you a fan of Zack Snyder? Or not?
I am a fan of Zack Snyder. However, I know I did not like Rebel Moon.
I did. But
I am a fan of Zack Snyder.
There's something that we haven't touched on yet. At least I don't think we have. The whole point of this movie, guys, was these two have been locked up with a key. With keys.
Oh, we were getting there. Yeah.
No, we need to get there now.
Let's get there.
They're locked up with keys that are going to detonate another nuclear thing.
So no, it's the last nuclear bomb in the world because all the other ones were fired off, which isn't realistic because if that happened, the whole world would be gone anyways. But anyways, the last key though, there's two keys that have to be simultaneously plugged in. They've got them. Everyone's trying to get them.
That's the point, though. That's why everyone's after them, is because they want the power of the keys. That's the whole point of this whole movie, which I don't think is a bad plot.
No,
I don't think the movie had a bad plot. I just think there was some execution that was meh.
Well, you know,
and then the quality, which is obviously not anyone's fault other than just us as timeline of life not taking care of it the way it needed to be taken care of.
One of the interesting parts for me, and you won't know this reference, he will. The part where Marlo and Philip, when they find Pops, they're wearing outfits that they were wearing to instill fear in the other gangs, the factions. And the outfits, the masks they're wearing, look eerily like Bosk from Star Wars from Empire Strikes Back, and I appreciated that little element. As well as I was
one more Star Wars, I'm out.
Well, no, the next one's going to be a different sci-fi genre. It's V for Victory. What is Miles wearing towards the end? Her suit's straight up V. Like I was kind of like that's pretty cool. It almost had a Michael Jackson V vibe going on, and but the whole breakdown, the way that and I liked the strategy that once Marlo and Philip found themselves, because there's this whole flip point, this turning point. Once they found themselves, I like how they pitted the factions against each other.
Oh yeah,
and they did it strategically, and they did it the right way. So it was kind of
that scene. I mean, because I love that scene because they kind of wake up from what's really going on, and they come out, and I can't remember the hippie girl, the cannibal hippie girl.
Oh, Misty. No, is it
Rusty. So she's being attacked, and by the foul-mouthed kids, the kids that like to say fuck constantly.
I forgot about that.
Those
dudes are
that could have been just done without.
No way. That's
annoying.
Excellent. Dude, those two were such comedic relief when it was needed. Like, especially the way they're dropping, like, come on, you fucking, like the way they were dropping the F-bombs with the guns. Come on.
But they show up in that scene, and all you hear is a gunshot. One bullet, and you see both the guns go out of those kids' hands. And then you see slow motion walk in their outfits and saving the girl. And he walks up to her, and he says this line, and I love it. He goes, "It's a good thing I have a short-term memory because I've already forgotten about you."
Little one-liners. Gotta appreciate them.
But the kids, when they're in the desert, when they first meet them,
But that was a really dark moment too when they opened the van and you see the body
all
parts.
These dead bodies these kids have killed.
And you're in a post-apocalyptic scenario. There's definitely cannibalism happening throughout the movie. And you can see it to the point where there's cities with meat markets that's human meat.
Yeah.
That was interesting too. So there was a lot of different little facets. I did like that because of what Marlowe and Philip's style became from being in the shelter for so long as children, that Dick or detective personality came through, and they carried it through even to their more buffed or built up personalities. I liked that became something they owned, and they kept wearing it all the way through into the dance scene.
Yeah.
So,
what'd you think about the dialogue differences? Because it literally you had Dudikoff and Stockwell that had that 50s detective slang. Then you got the cannibals that had this 1960s hippie slang. Then you got
the groovy. They kept
and then you got to the Miles that had like the 80s slang. They had like all these whole different time periods of slang.
So what I appreciated was the moments of narration. The narration dialogue, I like how that was conveyed because it was more like a Detective Friday scenario, and that was cool. But I had a big problem. I'm glad you brought up dialogue. I had a big problem with, maybe it was the copy I watched, but like I know Michael Dudikoff's voice, and the voice that came through for the audio on it was like the most high-pitched, whiny little shit. Like I wanted to punch him.
It was almost like a Leave It to Beaver kind of voice.
Gee golly!
Yeah.
Like it was high.
Yeah.
Like so it was weird. But I didn't know if that was the copy I watched or if it was, because American Ninja definitely has deep voice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
His whole like the way he talked, the way his like that whole
whininess. Yeah.
I couldn't even be friends with that guy. If that was a real person, I couldn't even be around him.
I think that's just the way the audio came across.
It wasn't even the audio.
Well,
it was just the way he played it that way.
The voice inflections.
He played it that way, and I get it, but it was annoying.
He played it that way
because he was played to be the obnoxious one of the two.
Yeah,
the one that was just like kind of stupid, kind of just like naive. He was supposed to be a moron.
Yeah, he was,
and he played it great.
He was supposed to be the comedic relief of the two,
and it wasn't comedic.
And John Stockwell was supposed to be the serious. So, and which is kind of a weird dynamic because, I mean, I always see John Stockwell as more of the silly one between the two.
And what's funny is Stockwell's 7 years younger than him.
And Dudikoff always played the serious action star after this film.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why he wanted to do it. He wanted to be something a little different. You know, I mean, let's be honest. Like, these guys get bored doing the same part over and over. When you got Dudikoff just doing ninja movies all the time and kicking people all the time,
I do really like
change.
I do really like the Leave It to Beaver analogy. That was good.
Yeah, no, it's
that's pretty spot on.
Yeah,
because it was that same like desperate whining. Oh, gee golly, mom! Like it was kind of that. Yeah,
and I feel like that's probably what Dudikoff was basing a lot of that off, because that was the vibe that I got. As soon as the first time I saw it, I was like, this is very like Leave It to Beaver.
I love that the detective personality as a whole too, because the influences, as we were talking about, that came over into Fallout, you see it in there's detective robots that are in it that are, I forgot the names in the game, but they become favorites, like fan favorites easily.
Yeah,
so it's very fun. Very fun.
So, James said something the other day. We were talking about this a little bit, and he said the movie needed more giant rats.
More of a joke. Didn't even realize what the hell it was until after the movie was over and you told me. But I mean, honestly, maybe it would have actually made it better because it only showed up twice.
Twice, yeah.
And the first time was quick, or the second time, one of them was real quick. So you couldn't even. I mean, maybe it was just the quality of it that the reason why I couldn't figure out what the hell. I just thought it was just a monster coming out of a sewer.
So the giant radioactive monster rat, definitely, I laughed pretty good when I saw it the first time, because I wasn't expecting it to be that large the way it came out of the sewer.
It looked like a giant piece of poop that just came out of a sewer.
You might not know this, but
I will not.
No, the '80s movie The Gate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That it reminded me a lot of that.
You know what I think of when I hear rats?
What?
The sewer
Michael
rats.
Jackson.
The sewer rats. Not the sewer rats. The fire swamp rats.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, come on. Oh, you hear...
What are you talking about?
Princess Bride.
Oh, okay, yeah. I got you.
I haven't seen that one in years.
Great movie.
Yeah. I'm debating watching the
Prepare to Die.
The PG-13 Deadpool 2 cut with Fred Savage in the beginning.
I've actually watched it.
I didn't watch that.
I think I want
to see that.
It's fun. It's definitely not as good.
No,
but
just because it has that.
But it's fun, and it's really fun, and it's worth watching because of all the Fred Savage stuff.
Completely off topic of anything, but Humperdinck in Princess Bride was the voice of Jack in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, that's
I think we talked about that actually once. Yeah,
Christopher Sarandon.
Yeah, that's his name.
Chris Sarandon. Yeah, he also played the main vampire in Fright Night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he was good in that. I actually appreciated that.
Jerry. Vampire Jerry.
So I will say this. I've been told JP's going to make you watch some stupid fucking movies.
JP is going to make you watch some
stupid JP is making me watch some stupid fucking movies. And you guys made me watch some stupid fucking movies.
I think you're going to like my next pick, though.
Well, I don't even remember what you said.
The Party Animal.
That's right. Oh yeah, we're gonna try to get together and do it all at once. Did you see that text? He wants us to get together and watch it together, and he wants to come join.
No. You're asking for like you think your pup trying to break in the door is bad. I have a 120-pound Corso.
You can come over. We'll watch it.
I'm just saying between them and my kids, we'd be pausing every 2 seconds. It wouldn't.
Oh, then we'll have to find a neutral place.
Yeah, I mean we can go to your parents. We can come here. I mean I know it's a bit of a drive, but.
We could just watch it and then just do the podcast right after.
that
actually might not be a bad move. Saturday morning, we'll do Saturday morning cartoons instead of some Saturday morning.
I'm intrigued with the idea of watching a movie as we go and pausing to discuss things as they arise. I wouldn't mind doing that at some point too.
What do you guys think?
Sound off.
Answer us right now.
Leave a comment.
We're
going to be in the live chat, so we'll see it.
That actually would be kind of fun if we just did it live, just watched it. And just
Fuck it, do it live.
Everybody, so,
box office.
Oh God! So I've got here box office. So what do you think the budget was?
Jesus Christ!
Oh,
compared to Hobo, what do you think?
$10.
It's just a bunch of foam painted gray, with the giant trailer that they found in someone's trash.
It's not going to be anything crazy, so I'm going to go like I'll say 150,000.
No, it's way
way higher than that.
It's way higher than that.
Shut up.
$3 million.
That has the same budget as Hobo did?
It has the same budget as Hobo.
What did it make, James?
What do you think it made?
$10.
JP picked it. $10.
It did make a little more. Not a lot.
$7 million.
What? That movie got more revenue than Hobo? I'm at a loss right now.
I'm actually not surprised, and I'll say why.
I will say that, hang on. I don't think that's right. I think that the $7 million is counting VHS sales.
Maybe.
Because I think
Laserdiscs as well.
And Laserdiscs.
Yeah.
Because,
but I will say this. I'm not surprised, and I say this because look at what was coming out in the 80s. It fit the 80s. It fit this style of movie back then. Hobo was trying to create something that was already been done for so many years to where some people have already been kind of like, I'm over it. This was actually at the time done to the time period of what was coming out.
I feel like the 80s, like you saw early success with sci-fi from Star Trek, obviously. But Star Wars kind of reignited that whole front.
That's number 3.
It is. But because of its success, you saw so much sci-fi
Can you start putting a count in when you're editing? Every time Star Wars... Ding.
Hey, you know what? Another good movie is starring it. The Last Starfighter.
Just every time they mention Star, you know what? I have an idea. I think I have a game we could play. Maybe like something online we can do with some fans for a shirt. Maybe
they're still waiting for Trivial Pursuit between him and I too.
That's on you guys. Bring the fucking game.
It's really in the other room.
Well, we're a little late with this now, aren't we? We're already through this episode, but I want to do in 1 month. We'll take a guess. How many times you guys bring up Star Wars in a month on 4 different episodes? And whoever wins, whoever comes the closest without going over, gets a CineNerds shirt.
Yeah, we could do like squares or some shit with that. Pick your square when how many numbers.
Yeah, like we'll do like because we can't have 7 people go 7, and then we got to give 7 shirts. That's just ridiculous. But and only I get to see that. That way, you two can't skew it.
Every time we say
Star, anything Star.
Oh, anything.
But this
Star.
also includes you.
I don't say it.
You said Star Wars.
Have.
I only say it because you guys say it.
But
I just
you're
won't
saying
say
it. That's what I'm saying. Every time it's
I just won't say it. I'll just go. Because that's how I feel inside.
You know,
we can fine tune.
Hold on. You know what? As shitty as you are to some of the stuff that we love, I have noticed the growth come with James here. He's starting to see a little bit more clearly. A little bit. Don't make your faces.
Of what?
Because you're starting to understand there is story, there is purpose behind why things are filmed with Hobo, the way it was filmed, because it's a purpose. It's a grind.
I mean, I know how to read.
Yeah, but these are baby steps. These are good things. Because before you just went like, nope, shit. Now you at least understand that it's a style.
You sit back now and you're like, I understand why people actually like this film. When before it was like, man, this sucks.
When did I say that?
You basically in most every film that you have.
Now you're just taking words that I said.
No. In most every film, you can probably go back and you can look at our podcast. I can see the appeal.
Hobo? No.
I can see the appeal.
Hobo? No, I did not. I told you that I see the storyline, but the movie is trash.
I'm pretty sure in Hobo there's a whole breakdown in the section of where he says it's things that make up for where it lacks. You talk about all the positives.
For me to be able to get through it.
But you did.
But not as a whole.
But you said you appreciated those things.
That's like me saying I appreciate you. I just say it because you're here.
And that's like you saying it to me also. I don't listen.
Dudikoff.
Yeah, in my mind, dude took off.
All right.
So we're going to have to go down a Dudikoff film.
No, we aren't. No, we're good. We're good.
American Ninja I could do. I don't know about some of the others.
Oh, no, he's got some good ones.
No, everything to you is good. I just had to watch this.
And a lot of them all.
That's not true. Rebel Moon.
He gets 2 of these a year.
A lot of the films that he did also had what's his name, Steve James, that was in American Ninja with him.
I gotta see the face. I don't remember.
He's his little sidekick.
Oh, okay, secondary. Okay, yeah.
No.
Yes.
I was waiting for some follow up, and you're just like, no.
The answer is no. The answer is just no.
Yeah.
I'm going to really surprise you guys that like after
I'm waiting for it.
My pick this.
That you actually might pick a good movie.
I'm going to pick
that. Like I actually think is amazing all the way through.
I don't know if you've seen it, but I already know what I'm going to pick.
The thing is, you started with Fat Man, and I was like, oh, JP's not as bad as I thought. And then since then, it's been downhill.
Which, by the way, I feel was a direct attack at me when he chose that because the title. Yeah.
But I'm
very well rounded.
I'm going to tell you right now, though.
Not in your movies.
My next pick after we do the Party Animal, I'm picking a masterpiece film. So it'll be your turn to pick the
shit.
The shit.
Or just skip the shit and let us enjoy 3 movies.
No. No. Wait, I just got to be quiet now.
No. No.
Because, listen, the only reason I don't choose the off-beaten path movies for me is because I know he's gonna.
Why don't we do something a little different? Why don't we actually say what the next 3 are going to be? That way those watching will know what's coming.
I'm ready if you guys are.
So I picked the cinematic masterpiece that is The Party Animal.
Everything that he watches is a cinematic masterpiece.
That was your cinematic masterpiece? Okay, all right.
Well, no, I've actually for my following pick.
Oh,
y'all
the following.
Don't know about
oh,
it.
You're playing it out. You're getting ahead.
Oh, he's like already in a May in his head.
Okay.
Yeah.
So The Party Animal. And for reference, for me, in our first episode, we discussed 2 movies that influenced me heavily, and that was Night of the Living Dead and Porky's. When I said Porky's, JP he talked about this movie, and so he kind of brought it back to the forefront, and he said it's kind of like Porky's on steroids.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to check it out. So yeah, should be cool.
My wife had she's never seen it, and I was talking about us watching this film, and she goes, well, I've never seen this. So, what's it about? So she ended up pulling up a scene on YouTube while we were sitting there, and she laughed her ass off the whole time through the scene. She's like, "Why have I not watched this film?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's been on my shelf. I've watched it a number of times, and you've just never paid attention." So,
all right. Well, for my selection, I'm going to go with something I think is a little too close to home for all of us at this juncture in our life, at least males around 35 to 45. Michael Douglas, Falling Down. I think it's a very, very impressive piece. I was telling these two that when I was younger and I saw it, I did not appreciate it. Now that I'm an older, cranky, get off my lawn man.
You're that guy?
No, I'm not. You know what? I'm not as bad with the get off my lawn.
I'm that guy.
No, I'm more if I hear somebody and I know they're going over 25 miles an hour down my street, I'll run out and go, slow the fuck down. Like I'm chasing them.
See, I got people in my neighborhood that do that to me. But the thing is, in Florida, everything's 5 miles per hour faster. So it's 30 in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
and I'm going 30. And people will be like, and I'll be like, well, I'm going the speed limit.
So my current,
if you don't like it, call the
my current neighbor just told me that we moved in our house 11 years ago. I guess within a few years before we moved in, there was a little boy that was Noah's age now that lived across the street. He was hit by a speeding car in there and got killed. I didn't know that, and so that kind of now I'm
tweaked you a little bit.
Whoa! But needless to say, yes, it's a guy who life comes at him with twists and turns, and how he copes with it is not the best process, but it's. I think a lot of people feel that way inside. So
what's your?
So I had a choice, and then I changed my choice. So we're gonna forget the other one for now because it'll come back. It'll come back around. I will pick that again, but I have decided to do something way more like present and newer. A fantasy adventure, Slumberland. Jason Momoa. I thought this was a great movie. I'm not usually a fantasy guy, as you guys know, but I did like the story of how this was put together. I don't know if you guys have either of you
I've
even
never seen it. No.
Yeah, I had one watched with my son.
I think you'll like it because Momoa starts off he's a dick, but then he softens up, and there's a reason for it, and I think you'll like it. It's got a little touching ending to it that I liked. It was a Netflix movie. But I do like Jason Momoa movies for the most part, not everything. Everyone's like, "Oh, what was it? What was that? Game of Thrones." He was only in. He wasn't in. He was barely in it. Yeah. Like, how can you even bring that up compared to the other movies that he's done? Yeah. But this one, I think, I needed something. I needed a little bit more something lighthearted.
I thought he was pretty awesome in that last Fast and the Furious movie.
I bet you did. Honestly, I almost watched it because he was in it. And I never seen any of them.
I stopped watching those after part 2.
I've never seen any of them all the way through. And then when they started adding more names in, I was like, they're just trying to keep this going, and they don't know what to do, so they just keep adding names in.
See, I can't be mad at that.
Once Paul died, like, it should have been done.
But I can't
be
mad at that. It should
have ended when Paul died. But it was his franchise.
Every time I say but.
I wasn't done yet.
We'll finish.
Now I'm done.
Land the plane.
Get the stick.
I don't even remember what I was going to say now. It's gone. Forget it.
Say I did my job.
No.
No, it should have ended when Paul died, in my opinion. It's okay if they want to keep bringing in names, but without Paul, you don't have your franchise, in my opinion. He was the franchise.
His brother, though, coming into play, I thought they did that well. So
it wasn't bad.
And I didn't watch that movie. I just saw the parts that he covered for his brother, and I was good with it.
Well,
ratings.
Go ahead.
No.
Oh, I'm last. I'm last.
Okay, so I'm going to give this, because this movie is near and dear to me, so I am going to rate this one a lot higher, even though the quality is low budget and crap. It's not been remastered.
Dog shit.
I love Albert Pyun. God rest his soul. He died last year or year before. I'm going to give this a 3.9.
You like this movie so much, and you're not even going to be in the 4?
I can accept that it is a low-budget film.
That doesn't mean you can't give it higher because you love it.
But I'm also trying to be a little realistic here.
Oh, now you want to be... Okay.
Hey,
I mean, there's checks and balances here. They're for sure.
I am the checks and balances.
So you think that. Sometimes you're just unreasonable. Similar vein, had I seen a quality version of this, I probably would have scored a lot higher. but because I didn't see a quality version, because that one song just is way too long. Those two pieces, Maryland negatives. I like the story.
The dance off at the end makes up for it, though.
It's all right. It's pretty good. But that said, though, I went 3.5 nerds.
You gave that 3? What?
Yep.
3.5.
Because I told you I'm a sucker for the post-apocalyptic scenarios. The fact that it influenced Fallout video games that I spent many hours playing. The fact that it's got all the parts and pieces that belong there. There's cannibalism. It's great. It's. I think this is a solid for what it is. Now listen, you got to remember, I take every movie as an individual entity. It's not a. It's got to be about the story. I got to put the pieces together, and I enjoyed it. Go for it, James.
So what did I say Hobo was? 1.5? Is that what I gave it?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give this a 1.7.
All right.
And honestly, it'd probably be higher if it was a better quality. But that really did ruin it for me. I mean, it really did. Otherwise, I would probably have it right up there with that typical 80s, low budget, not sure how to do. They couldn't do anything better because they didn't have the technology back then. I'll give them that.
I mean, this is a movie that literally, kind of like I've said in the past, somebody was snorting a line of cocaine and said, "You know what this movie needs? Giant fucking rats."
I mean, half of this. I would have loved this seeing the set when they were just driving, because all that was just foam painted gray. I mean, I know this because I have a friend in Jacksonville. This is what he does. He built a lot of the stuff at Universal. He's built a lot of his company did a lot of the Galaxy's Edge. So I've been to his workshop. I've seen what they do and how they can make stuff, and it's crazy. But in the same aspect, back then, with this kind of a budget, they just cut a bunch of foam up and painted it gray and said, "Start driving."
Have you ever seen Tokyo Gore Police?
I do not think I've seen that one.
What in the hell are you talking
about?
So
it's Japanese, and it's
I'm already out.
It's amazing.
I have seen Japanese Super Ninjas. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I haven't. But to your point in that, I remember seeing people, you see buildings exploding and everyone falling, and all you see is what's supposed to be bricks are clearly gray foam blocks. And
it's like I could jump on that and bounce.
They're so good, though.
Yeah, no, we're good. I'm glad that these two are over. I'm glad that we can move on to better films. Actually have some good conversation about some good movies.
Like I said, I think you're going, even though The Party Animal is completely low budget and ridiculous, I think you're going to love it. You're going to laugh your ass off.
And that I'm fine with, because comedy is, I really do think writing a good comedy is actually really hard to do. Because you can write a lot of things you think are funny, but it's really not.
How about a really hilarious bad comedy?
Like what? Give me another.
We're gonna need some foundation here.
You're going to be surprised.
Give me an example.
There's
no
movie made.
I just saw Police Academy for the first time 2 weeks ago. What are we scaling it to that? Kind of the same, but just more ridiculous.
Times 100.
I might be okay.
But you said Porky's times 1,000.
Well, yeah, then probably, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I thought I said Porky's times 100 or something like that. I couldn't remember. But yeah, it's.
Well, look, here's the thing. If you really, I challenge all of you that see this to go to YouTube. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to put the link to this movie in the comments on YouTube.
Oh, I will do better than that. I'll put it in the description.
There you go. And please, people, watch this. Leave a comment. Be honest. Don't try to tell me how stupid I am. Be honest. Tell JP how stupid he is.
If you love 1980s post-apocalyptic science fiction films, you're going to love it.
So a lot of people aren't going to watch this. So
just try to get through the first 15 minutes and tell me how many of you fail.
We realized that our last episode, Hobo, and this episode are a very specific area, but we're going to try and ramp that up a little bit. But the reason we want to have you guys see some of these unique and unique films we're discussing is because you might not see them otherwise. You might not think to see them.
Unique is a polite thing. Polite word.
Yes,
there.
it is, but it's a good. This one, I was pleasantly surprised with. This was my first time ever seeing this too, by the way. So thank you, JP.
I'm not thanking you.
You will one day.
Most of you will side with James. I assure
It
you.
was terrible, but with that being said, thanks again for sticking around with us. Thanks for listening. Ryan, where are they finding us?
3cinenerds@gmail.com. Please send us any questions, suggestions, all of the above. And also, our link tree is in our bio on Facebook. If you want to go there, you can find the platform that you would like to stream the podcast on. We also have our merch store up in there now, thanks to JP.
And please send us a message, leave a comment on something. Let us know what you're listening on, so we know. We just like to know where everyone's finding us at. We appreciate it.
Please click like, follow, share.
Share.
Always leave a comment. Whatever podcast site you are listening to us on, leave a review. We'd like to see the reviews, and it also helps out. So,
with that being said, I guess we will be filming the other ones that we talked about here a few minutes ago. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching if you're watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Later.